Hello and welcome to YourTown TV, YourTown Monterey, our beautiful Monterey, on another beautiful day. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm very excited to share with you an amazing guest. I was thinking this morning how extremely important, even more than usual, how important inspiration is and how important it is that each of us think about what we present, how we are able to use our gifts and talents to serve, to make this world better, to bring inspiration and hope to others. And I'm really, really honored and excited today to interview a beautiful woman I consider an ethereal, magical, powerful woman. And her name is Erin Jane Carey. Hi.
Hi, Sofanya.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm very excited to talk with you and learn more about you and share it with our world.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So, I didn't say anything in the intro about what you actually do, which is so unusual. And I remember when you first told me about it, I was like a wide-eyed child, like, what? You do that? And I'll let you explain what you do, but essentially you're an aerial artist.
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell us a little bit about that and what you do and how you got started with it?
Sure. I am a circus artist and aerialist primarily, and I dance in the air. I started as a ballerina as a child and really loved ballet, and then I went away to college and thought I needed to get serious in my studies. But I was really captivated with the work of circus companies like Cirque du Soleil and other modern circus companies. And so I decided to leave my course of study and go over to Europe and study circus arts. And so that's what I did, and I got a degree in circus arts.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, they really
That's
treat it
awesome.
as a very important art form more in Europe than they do in the U.S. And I fell in love. It was compelling, so compelling that I had to run away with the circus.
Wow, and then you did run away with the circus.
Mm-hmm.
And which circus was that? And it took you abroad to perform many places in the world.
Yes, I worked with a small circus company for 10 years called the Zany Umbrella Circus, and we did shows all over the United States, and our focus was, performing for people as much as we could free of charge. So we got really applied for grants to do performances in public spaces, and then that led us overseas, and we performed a lot in the Middle East, which was amazing.
Wow.
Again, providing this public performance generally as much as we could free of charge. And then I've worked for other circus companies. I work with a company called Aerial Experience Productions and did big shows all over Asia and the U.S. with them.
Goodness.
And I still work with them, and I'm leaving in December for another tour with them. But
Wow.
yeah,
You're
I
a
love
busy
both.
woman.
Yeah, I love both small arts companies, and then it's fun to play with the big toys sometimes.
Wow, what a great variety. But I know from my own experience, seeing you perform locally here,
Yes.
how majestic it is. Like just, you just feel like a child again watching this beautiful, ethereal, gorgeous movement and gracefulness. And it's kind of scary too. You go, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've seen you do some of your more gymnastic, acrobatic, and more, and I think that it's becoming something that's more popular.
It is.
And I'm hoping that you'll be talking a little bit later about teaching locally as well.
Yes.
So I have so many things I want to talk to you about. So, so I know that this is your, at least part of the way that you express yourself in the world, and it's very beautiful. And as I said earlier, I think that we need to see what a person can do that evokes a feeling in the audience. And that feeling evokes their ambition or their desire to also express in their own way, because we all have our gifts and talents.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that as an artist, we all occasionally might experience some type of a block, and I see that you're always working on your performance and expanding it or changing it and creating more, because it's creative.
Yeah.
Creative in the sky. And so do you, as an artist, ever face creative blocks to your work? And if so, how do you handle those?
Yes, I do experience that, not infrequently. And a lot of times for me, it manifests in a feeling of being not good enough, you know, and questioning my own worth or the worth of what I'm bringing to the world. Kind of, I have a tendency to diminish that. And so the things that really help pull me out of that, I'd say, are the things that generally inspire me in the world. And that can be, and often is, nature, which is what brought me to this beautiful place and keeps me here, is all the inspiration that's just outside our doorstep. And every time I'm feeling down or stuck, if I just find my feet on the ground and look around me at the beauty, it really helps. And then also just finding something inspiring to read. It can just be an article, or, you know, I love to just listen to my favorite voices, or even an inspiring conversation, just drawing from that, finding the thread and pulling it and seeing, how can I incorporate this into what I do? And finding value in what I have to bring to the world, and reminding myself of that.
Yeah, I think also that in my work and in my life, that nature and spending time in nature, observing it, because we are nature. We're not separate from that.
Right.
And so we can learn so much about ourselves, and then in learning about ourselves and being in touch with that, we're able to bring forth, you know, that. And I think in a way that's what this world needs. And I was thinking of that on the way over here, that, you know, maybe, you know, we need to campaign more for all of our world leaders to spend time in nature alone, to find out about life and who they really are.
Right.
You know, because I think we all need inspiration towards that, you know, towards finding fulfillment of ourself, and then we can share more with others. So it's a very personal, deep journey that we travel, and as we travel that, we get to share it. And in sharing it, those people share it. So I really appreciate that you do that. And so your inspiration comes a lot from nature and from life, from observing, being the observer of life. And are there any particular experiences, funny or sad or profound, that stand out to you that you've had in your journey so far?
Well, there's so many, but one that's really kind of resonant with me from the past few years and really involves our community is that in my house, which is in Big Sur, I had red aerial fabric, which we call a silk, hanging from a maple tree.
Right.
And I danced in that tree for 4 years, and kind of, like I was saying, developed this relationship with the tree. I felt this kinship with it, and very inspired by its strong presence and supportive presence in my life. And then we had vicious storms a few winters ago, and
I remember that.
When everything kind of came to a crescendo. I was at my house, and there was all this water and flooding, and I was leaving, and at the very moment that I was leaving the property, I hear something, and the maple tree is falling.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it fell, and some of my neighbors were yelling, "Run!" and there was nowhere to run, and the tree fell over top of me.
Wow.
And for a moment I thought, that's it. But then I found myself still there, and everything was intact, and I climbed out of the tree and just emerged from it, and
oh my God.
it became almost, for me, this mythical experience of, in the last moments of this tree's life, it spared mine. And
wow. Oh my gosh, what a story.
yeah, the fact that I had had this relationship with the tree made it even more powerful. I'm actually
That is such a story.
Performing a rendition of that story.
Oh, I was going to say that's got to be a film, a book, and a performance, and both, maybe all of the above, because
Maybe.
that was, I heard about that when it happened, and it's one of those things you kind of imagine in your mind as you hear the story. And I'm so glad that the tree loved you so much that it saved you and wrapped itself around
It
you.
did.
And I know that there are still remnants of it there in the beautiful root system.
Yeah.
And that's the symbolism of that too, that the roots that are exposed. And we could sort of dig into a whole conversation about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I also, thank you for sharing that story. That's very profound. And it also, to me, is yet another example of how amazing this life is when you pay attention.
Yeah.
And when you follow your passion, things, I think maybe for everyone, but my experience in my own journey is that when I'm conscious, pay attention, do what inspires me, then I notice more things that feed that inspiration. And it's very profound. You could call it synchronicity or just the perfection of life. But I also want to talk a little bit about, you do other things as well. I don't know how you do so much, honestly. But you're a volunteer firefighter for the Volunteer Fire Brigade in the Mid-Coast Fire.
Yes.
And I appreciate that because we're neighbors and we know what happens in our neighborhood. It's the fires, the floods. So can you tell us a little bit about that, your training and how you got involved in that?
Yeah. Well, when I moved to Big Sur and Mid-Coast area, immediately when I found out there was a fire brigade right up the street, I was just drawn to it. And one of the reasons was that I wanted to be of practical use to my community, and I was feeling like I do all this, kind of ethereal, but I wanted something grounded. And the firefighting felt like that to me. Like I could use my kind of strength and adrenaline addiction, maybe, because I love things that kind of push me to the edge. So I thought, well, that would be a good way to use that to help my community. And it just seemed like such a need, especially for, young people to be involved. And so I love it. It's really, we train all the time, and I'm always learning new skills. And the best is when we actually get to use it to help people. I was asked by our chief to start a rope. Yeah, Chief Cheryl Getz to start a rope rescue program for Mid-Coast Fire Brigade, and so we are well on our way. And
I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
I'm so in awe of you. Sometimes I have a lot of respect for that.
Thank you.
That you use your time to help others, and your desire to be on the edge like that. Because I've seen some photos of you on the edge. I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad it's her, not me. So that's really, really, truly amazing. So it sounds like to me that you use your life in a very fulfilling manner, and that's important to you. And how would you advise or give inspiration to others in how to follow their passion?
Well, I definitely think that we should allow ourselves to dream. And if we have that curiosity about something that keeps drawing us back to it, that we should dig into that and follow that. And that's what I did with the circus arts. And, you know, I just started talking about it and looking. And the more energy and focus that I put on it, the bigger that it grew. And, you know, I think that one of the things I like best about circus and what the discipline of training in it has taught me is to challenge my fears. And I think that's the biggest thing is sometimes with our passions, there's a fear around really going for it.
That is so true.
Will I fail? Will I succeed? Will I be able to get where I want to be? And I fail all the time with circus. And I've come to kind of value that in a way, the process of failing until one day.
Yeah, because your desire to succeed and to learn and to grow and to become stronger is stronger than the fear.
Yeah.
And I think very often people, you know, may not choose to follow their passion because of fear and practicality. Yeah. And I always feel like, well, at least like you said, dream, which is interesting because we have a dream therapist as one of our guests today.
Wow.
And we're going to explore that further. But I think when we allow ourselves to go beyond the fear and take one step, then the universe just provides. And so I really, really appreciate talking with you today. Thank you so much. And I guess at the beginning, I forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Sofanya, artist in Big Sur. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm supposed to do that at the beginning. But also, is there a website or, you know, somewhere people can find you?
Yes, my website is cirquefloral.com. So that's www.cirque, like Cirque du Soleil, and floral, which is the French word for flower.
Oh, how beautiful. I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your being here today
It's
on
been a
YourTown
pleasure.
TV.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.